Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wilson, here with my good friend and co-host Adrian Wright, and this is The Supernatural and Beyond. This latest series that we've been going through, we are looking at some of the more curious things and passages found in the ancient Hebrew text.
Yes.
One of the most curious ones that I have found was the sons of God coming in unto the daughters of men.
Yes.
Now, before we go any further, a lot of our reference sources are going to be from The Unseen Realm and Revising Mount Hermon by Dr. Michael Heiser. Google the guy, look at some of his YouTubes, and you'll understand where this train of thought is coming from. So back to our main point. Now, who are the sons of God? As we discussed before, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, he created all of the celestial beings or angelic host.
Right.
Well, at some point in time, this group of angels called watchers, who were given certain territorial assignments, decided that they saw the daughters of man and that they were fair, and they wanted to take wives of them.
Yeah.
Now, whether they came down and actually had sexual encounter with them, or there was some genetic engineering going on.
Either one.
Either way.
Could be both.
Yeah, could it be both? I don't rule anything out because as I'm going along, I'm learning and I'm sharing this information with you and of course with everybody that's watching the channel. The thing of it is that there are these celestial beings out there that interacted with the females of mankind, and they produce the giants, the Nephilim, and we have records of them all over.
Right.
The most recent is the
Giant of Kandahar.
Kandahar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
The
Yeah.
Giant of Kandahar.
Giant of Kandahar.
Right.
Modern day, I think it was in the early 2000s, where they actually killed one of these beings, and they say it was about 11 or 12 feet tall. And
They said it smelled like death.
well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that, but we won't go into that right now.
Yeah.
Here's something else that you can Google and check out for yourself.
Yeah, the Giant of Kandahar. So one of the reference books that I like is this one right here. It ties in, it's the Books of Enoch. It's written by Joseph B. Lumpkin. It ties in, of course, the Books of Enoch. It ties in Jubilees, the Book of the Giants. And it ties in what's going on in Genesis and other parts of the Bible. It just lays it out in a nice little quick reference format. And it's very interesting stuff. Helps me understand what's going on Mount Hermon and, the fall and the celestial beings. And so you brought up something that sounded really good, and it was about the sons of God went into the daughters of men. And if you look at that phrase right there, the sons of God, I believe, are like the celestial beings.
Exactly.
Right? And then the daughters of men were, of course, the sons of Adam, the daughters of Adam, mankind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, there was some kind of fornication or whatever, but they were trying to pollute the bloodline.
Yes.
And that's where Mount Hermon ties into it.
Exactly.
Because there were 200 of these fallen beings that were led by Azazel, or Azel.
Azazel.
Azazel,
the
in
pronunciation,
Hebrew.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what happened was they swore a curse on themselves because they knew the Creator, the Almighty God, was going to be upset with them when they violated this law from the spirit realm into the fleshly realm and created the giant race. And then when the giants died off, that's where we got the demonic race.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it all connects to Mount Hermon, if you follow it to Mount Hermon. And what I found in one of my studies is Mount Hermon had 3 peaks. I don't know if you've ran across that before, but it had 3 peaks. And then if you look at ancient Egypt, where they had their pyramids, they had 3 pyramids.
I never connected those dots.
Yeah, and then a lot of people say that aliens come from the Orion Belt. In the Orion Belt, those 3 stars in the sky, and they happen to line up perfectly with the pyramids in Egypt.
going back into a couple of other things, you know, Stonehenge.
Yes.
There's areas in China and throughout the world that line up with the belt of Orion.
Yeah.
You know, I've had an opportunity to take a couple of classes and I'm watching the stars. And Orion's probably one of the most easily recognizable because of the 3 stars in the belt and, you know, the configuration of how it is. And if you go into a little more of the Mazzaroth,
Okay.
I'm practicing my Hebrew here, the Mazzaroth is which the study of the stars from the Hebraic perspective
Yes.
as opposed to the Babylonian, Mesopotamian cultures.
Right,
There's
because it has like the 12 tribes of Israel. So each of the constellations is represented in the 12 tribes of Israel in the Hebraic type of calendar in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
You
the
know what I mean?
Mazzaroth. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's very fascinating how all of that stuff works together. You know, the adversary, Satan, or the fallen angels, I like to call them in modern terminology, the Luciferian New World Order,
Right.
which actually got started back at the Tower of Babel.
Yes.
That's a whole nother story. However, again, with our reference sources that we mentioned earlier, it shows how all of these dots are slowly but surely being connected. Even in the book of Revelation, John the Revelator was told, it's like, hey, look, I'm giving you all this information, but seal it up because it's not for the time of the end.
Right.
Now we are in the time of the end, and certain individuals are now being able to bring this information because of what is coming. You know, the Luciferian New World Order is and will establish the Antichrist system, and there's just so much that goes on. Again, that's another one of those things that we can't go into right now because it's a bit of a rabbit trail.
Yeah, that's a huge rabbit trail to go through too, but I like how it's all connecting. If we look at it right from the right perspective, from the biblical perspective, from the ancient text perspective, it does tie in and it does come together. So what else have you found in your study about Mount Hermon?
Probably one of the most interesting facts is that when the Messiah, Jesus, or Yeshua, depending on which language you're choosing
Yeah.
to use at the time, he went and took his disciples to Mount Hermon, and where the watchers came down to corrupt the earth, Mount Hermon, just before Yeshua was to be crucified, he said, on this spot I will build my church.
And the gates of hell will not prevail.
Will
against
not
it.
prevail. Because a lot of these ancient sites are actually portals and gateways to the demonic realm. And so one of the missions that Yeshua had was to naturally bring mankind back into fellowship with the Creator. However, all of creation was kind of thrown off kilter a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but it was actually thrown off kilter a lot. So there are the celestial beings that are being reestablished with the original content and intent of the Creator, along with humankind. Because even in the book of Revelations, it says, old things have passed away, new things will be brought forward. The heavens and earth will be made new.
Yeah.
So it's getting ready to happen.
It's getting ready to happen, and I like how it all ties together. And then you brought up an interesting point with that Luciferian world order thing.
Luciferian New World Order.
Yeah,
yes.
and you know, there's earthly realms, and they call it like either the New World Order or the deep state, or they have all this kind of corruption, but there's an element behind it that's satanic, and there's an element behind it that's demonic, and it's just, it's polluting the physical realm. And it's like, whether you believe in the physical realm or the spiritual realm, it's out there. Like, you can go, you can do your own research, and we encourage our viewers, you guys do your research, check this out, pay attention to what's going on around you. And that's what I like about the book of Enoch, is it ties it together with what it says in Revelation. It ties it together with what it says in the prophet Daniel about those end times coming coming soon. And it'll be like it was in the days of Noah, which was pre-flood, and that corruption that was going on, or if you want to make that connection, the alien race, that's how I like to connect it.
Alien race, yeah.
Yeah, the alien race. And so we want to hear back from our viewers. So tell us what you think about Mount Hermon, or what you guys think about the fallen race, UFOs, and angels. We've talked about that in other episodes. Be sure to comment down below, give us some feedback, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe for more content.